While everybody's in quarantine trying to flatten that curve of the COVID-19 pandemic, there's never been a better time to experiment with cutting your own hair. Hi, I'm Juliana Becker, and I just cut my own hair. It's not the best haircut, but it'll do. Want to know how to cut your own hair? I'll show you how. I'd like to go over a few disclaimers before we get started. 1. I am not trained whatsoever to do this. I have been cutting my own hair off and on for about 25 years. My techniques are a mixture of stuff I've made up and stuff I've seen professionals do. 2. There's lots of different styles of hair, lots of different textures and thicknesses. My hair is pretty thin and stringy, and it tends to be wavy, which can disguise a lot of mistakes. The techniques I'm about to show you might not work for your hair, which brings me to number 3. Your first time doing anything, you're not going to be great at it. So just keep in mind that you might really fuck up your hair. But again, we're under quarantine, so there's no better time to give it a shot. Let's get started. You might want to get all your supplies together. A hairbrush. But it is important to have a good pair of scissors. I have these actual scissors meant for hair that I use for nothing but hair. A hand mirror, so you can look into infinity. I like to cut my hair over the sink. It's a nice bowl, and I plug the drain so that the hair doesn't get down the drain. Afterwards, I'll scoop all the hair out, and makes for easy cleanup. I'm gonna get my hair wet. I'm all damp and combed. I'm going to basically start at the bottom and work my way up. So I'm gonna kind of section out my hair. So first, I'm gonna leave like a little layer like that. Oh yeah, one tool I forgot to mention, a clippy. So since I can't reach the back of my head, I do this technique where I comb it out this way, do a little cutting, and then swing it this way. All right, let's get into it. Let's start with this back hair. Sort of from about the mid back of my head. Oh God. Okay, so one technique I do, instead of cutting straight across, or maybe after I cut straight across, I do nips in here so it's not just so blunt. And again, using the previous length as sort of a guide. Oh, Jesus. Okay. All right. Let's swing it over. I also do this thing where I kind of drag the scissors as I cut. It sort of makes it more like a razor cut. This is really the hardest part right here. So I can kind of see that this is the section I've cut already from the back of my head from the other side. So I'll match up to that. Careful not to pinch your fingers. Look for any stragglers and just give them a little whop. Okay. So this is where the mirror comes in. I'm gonna kind of look at that line across and see if I fucked it up too bad. So now I'm gonna pull down the next section. I like to have that crown pretty small. So kind of go like, here's the corner. If you picture your head as a square and these are the corners, I'm just gonna come in a little bit from there get that out of the way. Now I got all this new hair to cut. Cool, so I accidentally stopped recording when I cut this whole second layer. So I'm gonna do a little pretending to reenact it for you. So one thing is I'm looking at my face frame in pieces. And I use a slidey scissor technique again to sort of be like a razor cut, because that's what my thin hair likes. And I sort of slide it down as I'm cutting, so I get like a gradual length. And so I'll look at my face framey stuff, match them up, and trim. Just very light trimming right now. And then I'm gonna go all the way around my hair. You can kind of go up in there, but focus on that last inch using the current length if your haircut was good as a guide. And I'm taking about an inch overall off, but kind of coming up in there to give it a little texture. And the reason I like this slidey razory technique is because it helps give it volume, because it's just so thin. If it was all the same length, it would just be really flat. And it also helps it kind of break out into these like locky tendrils. So the back again, it's guesswork. So I come back here, hold it out, do a little slidey snip snip. And I'm just, as I pinch the hair off, I'm just tossing it in my sink with the drain plugged, so that I don't clog it. All right, and do that all the way around until you're fairly confident that your hair has been trimmed. So now, the fun part, the crown. And I'm going to divide this up into two sections because, again, I have bangs. So to separate out the bangs, I want it to be like a nice V that goes up from about here and then points down to like my hairline. I've got somewhat of a little V now. So now I'm gonna grab that crown hair. Crown being like that kind of area. The hair that would be in a male balding pattern. Okay. Ooh, this is fun. So, because this hair is coming from different sections of my head, whenever it falls down, it's going to be all different lengths. So I try to straighten that out as much as possible. And then I'm going to go to the tippy top. So once it's all straight and I've got it pinched securely, I'm going to trim a nice V. Or maybe just straight across, yeah. And then deep scissor cuts. Just shag that edge out. I trimmed it. Okay. We're getting there. So I did it again. I just trimmed my bangs and didn't record it. So, a reenactment. This is where it's especially important to remember that when this dries up, it's gonna shrink up and you might end up with some baby bangs unintentionally. So always cut your bangs a little longer than you think. You can always come back and trim more, but you cannot grow them fast enough. So I get that centerpiece and I like to line it up with my eyes a little bit. I'll trim it, which I already did again, so I'm just pretending here. And then I come up and do these vertical scissories to shag it out. Might even do a little slidey. Careful not to poke yourself in the eye. Scissors may cause blindness. So then I do my curtains as kind of two halves, using that center point as a guide. So I'll comb that out. pinch it and do some little draggy trims, some vertical shags. All right, comb it out. Get out of here, longies. Draggy trims. Vertical shaggies. Okay. And I've kind of got some curtains going on. So once you lay it out, you can kind of see if anything's out of place. With bangs, I like to mostly cut vertically, just because the straight blunt is where you make really funny things happen. I want everything to be soft here. And if they end up kind of thick, you can always come up and thin it out with little razor slides. So I've got these little whispers. I want them long, but they do need a trim for health. So now I'm gonna let it all down and just kind of do a little review. See how my dog ears doing. I think I want a little bit shorter hair over here, but not really a ton. So I'm just gonna do my layer. I'm not getting up too close to my scalp. I'm about, I don't know, 6 inches away. Like anything that's kind of clumpy, I just come in and thin it. Let's check out this side. I don't want to have it all on the side, so you gotta kind of remember to do some of that on the back too, which can be awkward. So this part, I'm not trimming it all the way off. I'm just sort of, let's see. I'll grab a chunk. I'll kind of go in between it with the scissors. Slide, slide, slide. Get the edge. And then get that side. All right. I think I'm done. So check your links for matching. See what the back is doing. Yeah. That'll do for a quarantine haircut. All right, so that's starting to dry. I'm gonna brush it out a bit. You might want to shower after this because a lot of hair will kind of still be in there, especially with that draggy technique, because it doesn't just fall right off. Shake it out. That's how I dry my hair. It's so thin, I don't even need to dry. So I learned this technique from another hairdresser where she kind of like mush twists to make those curtains flare out and like stand up. I'm gonna kind of do the same around here. My hair gets really wavy when it's wet, or like the first day I wash it, it's really wavy, and then it gets straighter as I let it get dirty. But to help those waves, I kind of mush and scrunch as it's drying. I did all right. Yeah? Is that okay? Here's a big mess that I made. Ooh, a hair in the sink. Do not put that down the drain. You will clog it. I'm gonna use a washcloth. So I kind of trimmed a bit off.